December 21st, 2017. And I think that this may actually turn into a series of videos. I've been thinking about this. I've been reflecting on the idea of eternity and thoughts and ruminations by the artist from the studio, spontaneous insights by the artist from the studio, random even sometimes. And I thought I'd give a little bit of a dissertation, my reflections at this time of the year, this pagan time of the year, even among Christians. What is very clear to me is that it is a ritual. It is a ritual that is attempting to hijack our birthright. This is something that is difficult for people to accept because, like myself, I have always been inundated with the view, with the concept, with the dogma that we live out our lives relating to our culture, a culture that provides us with a platform to exist the best way we possibly can. We look at our heroes and our idols within culture, whether that is Jesus, Muhammad, or George Clooney. We live for some concept that has been constructed for us that is not connected to the way we actually feel. We supplant our desires to some greater power, the omnipotent being that has been actually the way we relate to the omnipotent being always comes through surrogates called religions or people such as Akhenaten, who was one of the first to actually realize that they can take the Akhenatens of this world, the divine right of kings, can take that away from us, which is most closest to our heart of hearts, and say, I am going to be your liaison to the omnipotent being. And I'm going to address my concept of eternity. I'll start. And it's appropriate what you see behind me are actually quite complex in certain ways, patterns and images that have been ruminating in me in some form or other. And this is part of my concept. I demonstrate not just what I spout, but you can always see images in the background when I talk. The art that I make are literally reflections that I have every time I come to the studio. And eternity is I have a romance with the idea of eternity. I have to tell you this. I feel I have a romance with just the concept of eternity because it invokes possibility. And I think possibility is everything in our life. If we become dogmatic, and most of the people I listen to on YouTube are very dogmatic in their concept of truth, for example, or what they believe to be the way we should be, all the rules and regulations connected to the idea of how we should be. I've always been told as a child, I remember from way back when, how I should be, other than how I want to be. And I'm not saying that I always was right in what I wanted, and I look for guidance to people that have a deeper understanding, having lived, being older. I look up to people that are older, and if they're 60, 70, 80, or even older, they probably have experiences, if they're true to themselves, that give me the assistance I need to grow. Like, for example, my extended family in my profession as an artist. I don't even like the idea of profession, but as an artist, I've looked at people that have produced work that inspire me, even sometimes in spite of themselves. They were nutbags, psycho cases in some way, but in spite of themselves, they produced work of incredible potential or power or insight, whatever that is, or just those beautiful color combinations. If you look at a Monet, who I'm not a big fan of Monet, but I do understand his communication to me in terms of color, or Vincent. Vincent is actually far superior in the way he's able to communicate not just color, but the context of color in a way that opens up my heart, that opens up my heart. This is the Vincent thing that happens. Monet doesn't do that to me. My heart does not open with Monet. I just marvel. I marvel at combinations, but he's not capable of doing that Vincent thing to me. So my reflections on eternity today, on December 21st, the shortest day apparently on this earth, which is not what it appears to be based on the dogma that we're being fed. And I think this is a very interesting concept, that to focus on what I say, what we consider to be eternity, opposed by dogma. And like I say, I may extend this into more videos because literally I have such an inspired feeling when I consider the possibilities, what it means, not just possibility, but what it means to reflect on eternity. It's probably very appropriate at a day, the shortest day of the year in the Northern Hemisphere. It's very appropriate. And the celebrations that occur at this time of year are based on very pagan rituals. This is something that is not up for debate. These rituals, these reenactments are actually based on very primitive feelings that we have about survival, in fact. And that has all been hijacked into the dogmas by religions. I don't care which ones you have, whatever ones, if they're Jewish or Muslim or Christian, all these religions hijack the thing that is most dear to us, which is our connection to the mystery, this omnipotent being. And to bludgeon the usual suspects is actually a reasonable thing to do. I listen to different people like Manny Skywatch, or you have people that are very inculcated into the dogma of culture in terms of news like Greg Hunter or Gerald Celente, people that reflect the spirit of the time in terms of news. Like I say, I always refer to this, I say, no news is good news. No news. This is one of my insights, and people who understand the ritualistic aspect of the noose will understand. And I think that what's curious is, have you ever noticed how many people wear the noose, or what I consider to be the tie, in most of cultures? Western culture anyway. This is very related to the idea of eternity, because these people attempted to hijack, again, an aspect of ourselves by making us subservient to their dogma. Now, my thoughts today on eternity, within the context of the images that I produce, the complexity, the mystery that surrounds us all, my first thoughts, and my first, I suppose, suggestion, I would say suggestion, is to truly live in the moment. Eternity is very connected to the shortest aspect of our life, like the shortest in the sense in terms of time. Eternity is thought of as infinity. I mean, it conjures within me the idea of infinity, but in fact, it has to do with a moment. It has to do with capturing something that I could say is timeless, but it could be in a moment. And what is a moment? It's like that experience that we have. It's not explicable. It's a mystery. That if you hear a certain note or a combination of notes that evokes something within us, that connects to something within us, that is beyond the physical realm. Generally speaking, eternity attaches itself, the concept, to what is not of the physical world, which is why it's so powerful, which is why religions have attempted to hijack that concept and create a dogma around it to fix it in time in a way that it can never be fixed. But if you create rules and regulations, and then you follow those rules and regulations, and you wear your tie every day to work, and you make sure you look the right way, this is one aspect of hijacking our birthright into a formula it will never work. It can't work because it's contrary to our nature. And I think the reason for myself, not I think, I know, I am an artist. I'm a painter primarily. I'm a painter. I'm not an artist. I'm a painter, because there are many artists out there, but very few painters. There are very few painters populating our planet. I'm talking about people that actually have understood what it means to do this activity of paint. Artists can do lots of different things. It's beyond creativity. I see myself not within the realm of creativity, which is an aspect, which is obviously, tying your shoelace is creative. So my reflections today, an introduction, I think. This is an introduction. I feel I'm going to expand on this. And you will see different work. I will have different work behind me that will indicate the sense of being in a moment, of capturing something that is happening not within the sense of time as we get up in the morning and we brush our teeth and we have breakfast and we do what we do, but I'm thinking more in terms of eternity, representing something of myself. It's not something I can articulate with any precise formula, but you and I know it exists within all that which we do not want to be. Think about that. Eternity has been so removed from our existence that it is all that which we believe which is actually the opposite of what we believe. This is how far we have gone. This is how far I think we have gone. That which is most precious to us is the most removed from us. By intent, through ignorance, through convenience. Like I say, I always bring this up. I think eternity and conscience are actually very much tied together, meaning that your sense of self, the feeling that I have about myself, in order to be attached to this incredibly powerful mystery, I need to feel good about myself, not within the confines of the noose. We need to liberate ourselves from the dogmas. And quite frankly, people that come on YouTube and present us with more dogmas, especially truth. I think I've separated myself. I don't listen to this woman anymore, this Syndicate Courier, Rise Together, and partially because an incredible amount of people are following her now, and she's getting a large amount of views. And I hesitate whenever I see large numbers of views on YouTube. Something isn't quite right. This is, unfortunately, it's not always like that. There are good people presenters on YouTube. But if you're getting tens of thousands of viewers or thousands of views, there is a problem. I don't know. I just have the EBGBs whenever I see that. And based on her, I don't know if she's a good person or not. I don't know the history, but she went into this elaborate dissection of truth, the levels of truth, from 0 to 5 numbers of truths. Truth is a moving target. Truth is a diversion. What is missed by most people is the sense we have in ourselves of being capable of doing the right thing. And truth is something that is almost it's kind of like a wonderful possibility, I suppose. And truth is not maybe pregnant, maybe not. You're either pregnant or you're not. It's either truthful or it's not. There are no degrees within truth. And eternity recognizes the moment. It is. The moment always is. Like a painting. The painting that strikes you as being superb and beautiful and elegant has to be in the moment in order to be of value to you and to me. And I strive for this. Whenever I search for expressions within my work, there is this sense of being in the moment. And to capture something that is obviously beyond words. When I speak about this, it's not something I'm able to articulate. I mean, if you see the images behind me, if I could articulate it with words, I would I would do it. I would do it because there is kind of like we've adopted this feeling that words have a lot of significance, but they're the least significance. Words are the least significant aspect in our day-to-day life, unless you're a fabulous poet in some way, but it's our actions that count. And paintings are actions. They're not words. They're not, what is that? That ability to transfer our actions into a physical object like a painting is still an incredibly valuable, beautiful tool that I see happening. And that has been hijacked. And all the people that call themselves artists, and they can call themselves whatever they want to be. They can call themselves bringers of brilliance and insight into the meaning of the cosmos. They're not. They're not if they're not in the moment. So I'll leave it here. My first thoughts on eternity on December the 21st, leading up to this pagan time of ritual that we've probably all experienced in our genes, our DNA hold within us millions of years of this aspect of our existence at this particular time, and it's all been hijacked by all the religions to take us away from the most important thing, from the most meaningful thing to us within the concept of eternity, and that is the birthright we have, the birthright that I would say all creatures on this planet are a part of, and that is to be able to be in the moment. And that has been taken away from us in so many ways. But music, art, the creative activities try to keep us connected to that feeling of being in the moment. My first dissertation on eternity. I'll do a bit more. I'll do a bit more over the next few days over the holidays. And I talked to Lonnie Clark. I'm going to have a chat with her on the 25th of December on her radio program. So just a heads up. My best to all of you. I wish you all the best at this time. It's a difficult time for many people because emotionally, the reason it's a difficult time, I feel, is that we recognize that we have been separated from this birthright, our ability to be in a moment of meaning and significance. And this is what ties us to the mystery. And this is what makes it difficult. This is why the suicide rate is really high at this time of year, understandably, because we feel it more strongly for probably many reasons. I'll reflect on this some more and have some comments.